Hello everybody, it's TannerFishies here, back again with a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be discussing a strange Ninjago scene that some may describe to be disturbing, dark, out of place, uncharacteristically evil for the Ninjago series. You know, there are multiple ways that you could describe the scene that we're going to be talking about here, but I think we all have that moment in Ninjago that just makes us kind of go, why? And sort of ponder the question why exactly this scene was even part of the Ninjago series to begin with. The scene that we're going to be talking about in today's video comes courtesy of Ninjago Season 2, otherwise known as Legacy of the Green Ninja, and looking back on that season as an entirety, yeah, it was kind of awkward. I enjoyed the season for the most part, or at least after the filler arc stopped. I really enjoyed the episodes where the ninja were operating on the Dark Island, and I thoroughly enjoyed the Stone Army stuff along with the Overlord introduction. All of that was really cool to me, but yeah, to many Ninjago fans, Season 2 is very much a weird season to rank among the others. Part of Season 2's weirdness was actually the introduction of the character of Misako, who of course is canonically Lloyd's mother. When Misako was introduced, I personally didn't think much of it. I thought to myself, okay, here's another one and done character that we're going to be seeing for once this episode, but then they'll probably fade off into obscurity, as many one-off Ninjago characters tend to do. However, Misako stuck around and played a large role for the rest of the season, and arguably the entire rest of the Ninjago series. For some reason, the show decided to make her play the love interest dynamic with Master Wu, even though, you know, she's technically his brother's wife. Regardless, Master Wu clearly had some type of spark with Misako, and an untapped history that we would not find out about until Season 4. But regardless, their relationship combined with the chaotic nature of Season 2 led to one of Ninjago's weirdest and out of place, out of character sequences. I am of course referring to the moment where Master Wu and Misako decide to jump out of a multi-story building to escape the Stone Army. They would rather have died than face the Stone Army here. And that's pretty heavy stuff right there. Now, we've seen suicidal-esque sacrifices in Ninjago before, most famously in the case of Zane blowing himself up during Season 3, but something like this is a little bit out of the ordinary for Ninjago. However, Ninjago still showed it, and I want to give my thoughts in today's video as to what this scene might have meant, and why the series decided to take these characters in that direction. So with the whole Misako and Wu dynamic, as I said, they have history together. Master Wu and Misako were of course into each other when they were quite young, all those many moons ago, until Master Chen and Garmadon interfered, hence Misako fell for Garmadon. But originally, Wu and Misako had that connection going. They had that spark, and the spark was clearly still there once they met up again during Season 2. It was confirmed pretty much immediately that Master Wu had some type of feeling for Misako, and Misako shared similar feelings back for Master Wu. The two also made a pretty good team, all things considered. They battled together really well. Essentially, they were the perfect combo. Perhaps this means that they were made for each other. I cannot say for sure. During the events of Ninjago Season 2, specifically episode number 21, Master Wu and Misako found themselves in a pretty tight situation. This was during the whole uprising of the Stone Army, and as such, the ninja team had little to no control over how these guys would be handled or taken out. They had never faced an enemy like this before. During this episode, though, Master Wu and Misako showed each other and the audience that they would pretty much follow each other, even to the death if that was necessary, ultimately culminating in the aforementioned moment where they both decide to jump out a window, possibly to their demises. Misako left her final battle research behind, obviously the all-important final battle research, and decided to go run after it, and of course Master Wu decided to run after her because it was only natural. After a quick near-death experience, no biggie there, Master Wu and Misako find themselves facing a giant horde of stone warriors, and they decide to team up once again and battle it out, both using Spinjitzu to take care of a couple of stone warriors. Ultimately though, the Stone Army proved to be too much for the duo, and as such, they both decided to turn around and promptly just jump out of a multi-story building. Because two Lego characters hitting the pavement would be too graphic to show for a children's cartoon, they are promptly saved by the Destiny's Bounty, so it's all good, right? Well, no, because they still jumped. The bounty may have saved them, but it's not like that was their intention. And to that, I just gotta wonder, again, why? So Ninjago has gotten away with a lot of stuff, a ton of really messed up or adult situations over the years. We've already discussed in several videos that Ninjago can get pretty adult sometimes. But this moment for me always stood out as being something super mature and frankly depressing. It's always been the case. Ever since I saw this episode as a child, I always wondered what exactly the intentions of that scene were. Showcasing Master Wu and Misako jumping to their deaths. Well, they ultimately didn't die, but they didn't know that. For all that they knew, they were jumping to their deaths. This was the final moment and they were willing to spend end it together. In a way, it's kind of romantic, I guess you could say. It's almost like a Romeo and Juliet situation, except not really, not exactly. They were willing to die together on their own terms, as opposed to being torn apart by the Stone Warriors, so I guess that has to mean something, right? They, of course, were willing to take that extra step quite literally. As I said, it also worked out in the end because they were saved by the Destiny's bounty below them and landed on it safe and sound. Some people could argue that Master Wu and Misako, of course, saw the bounty coming around the corner, therefore they knew that if they jumped they would be safe, but I'm not so sure. I mean, when they land on the bounty, they look surprised. You can see on your screen right now, they don't look like this was planned. They genuinely seem surprised to be alive, which leads me to think that they did not intend to land on the bounty. I've heard people argue that point for years on end, and honestly, I never really bought it. These people seem surprised to be alive. Master Wu and Misako seem to be surprised to be alive, like I said, so I think them jumping out of the building was purely intentional, and they ultimately accepted their fate. What would have happened if the bounty was not there? Well, then we probably would not have seen Wu or Misako be in the rest of the Ninjago series. My thoughts on the entire thing: it's kind of weird that LEGO and Ninjago were able to show something like this. I mean, the intention behind the scene alone is pretty shocking, but the fact that this got through several people approved this scene, and it ultimately made it to the final cut aired on TV for children, it seems a little weird. I'm not one to be super big into censorship. I'm not really one of these, oh, think of the children type of people, but to me personally, this just seems like a little too much to show on TV, if I'm being honest. I mean, again, you could argue that they saw the bounty coming, but I personally don't buy that whole argument. Like I said earlier, I always just assumed that Wu and Misako came to accept their fate. Either way, they were going to die, and as such, they would rather go out on their own terms with each other, as opposed to being, again, torn apart by the Stone Army. I'm curious to see what went on behind the scenes of this entire production. Who exactly made this choice? Why was it ultimately made? And what was the original intention behind this sequence? Was it to showcase the love between Wu and Misako? Again, I'm not super big on censorship, but this just seems a little bit too much at the end of the day. But of course, that'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below discussing what exactly you think about this whole entire sequence, and what did you find to be the strangest part of Ninjago Season 2? Did you find Misako and Wu's relationship to be kind of strange or awkward? And what did you think about the whole sequence of them jumping out of the building to escape these Stone Warriors? What do you think that meant? And let me know in the comments as well if you think that they saw the Destiny's bounty coming. Again, I personally don't think they did. But of course, the comment section is yours down below to discuss anything that you would like to, and I appreciate you guys watching today's video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and as always, check out the links down below in the description for other forms of social media. Thank you all so much for checking out today's video. Once again, you guys, my name is TannerFishies, and with that, I bid you farewell.